Recording. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. And I'm sorry for a few technical challenges. It's great to see y'all. This is the third class in our series. And today we're going to just be giving you information and pushing you a little bit forward on your effort to create a website. So we have a lot of really great information. You see the schedule that I sent out just a few minutes ago. We have a lot crammed in to hour and a half. Eric and I are here at our offices located in St. Louis Park. And I want you to know that you're always welcome to join us here. We came in today because we do have somebody who's going to be joining us. She's just not here yet. So there might be a little tiny bit of kerfuffle when that happens, but I think you'll be great if you show up here or if you don't. So with that, this is again the third in a series of classes, and Tracy Jackson is our kind client and sponsor. Oh, we have two people that just showed up, so that's awesome. So Eric has workbooks for you. So Tracy, I'll let you introduce yourself and your staff for a little bit.
Thank you, Anne. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Jackson. I'm with the Office of Civil Rights, and I work with a team that does business development, and we're here to support you as well as we hire consultants. As you see today, we have Anne, who is with Professional Engineering Services. So we hire, and Eric, good morning, Eric. We hire DBEs to teach DBEs. So, and we've been working on a marketing in these last three classes. So capability statements, portfolios, and now website today. So these are great tools to market your business. So excited to continue on this. And then we have we have several other classes upcoming. And so I'm going to put a link in the chat for you. So there's several classes happening right now in March and April. So please sign up for all the classes. They're all free. In addition to that, we have micro grants that are available for those who are actively pursuing MnDOT projects. And there's some eligibilities, but up to $3,500. So I will also put that link in as well. So I do have a few others from my team. I heard Orlando, so if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good morning. Welcome to our making a website. My name is Orlando Klinkhammer. I'm with the Office of Civil Rights, the Business Development Unit. Most of you know me from receiving, marketing materials and class updates. I just want to say thank you for participating, and I hope you learn what you need to know about websites. Also, there will be a survey. It's important that you give us your honest feedback. You will not hurt Anne's feelings if you give us the accurate. And then if there's additional information you need or trainings that you feel that would be beneficial to small businesses, please let us know. It's important so that we can develop trainings as we move along to assist small businesses in growing their business. I will now pass it on to my supervisor, who is joined with us, Adrian Bond. Please take it away.
You're on mute.
Whoops, sorry. Good morning. I don't know, my camera's being weird. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. I commend everybody for coming and taking the time to do some business development work. And I think Tracy did a good job covering our upcoming program. So please check out the events calendar on our website. And then Orlando, I think, did a good job covering the importance of feedback. And if you have any classes or areas of development that we don't offer that would be beneficial, please reach out to Tracy, Orlando, myself, anybody on our team. We're always happy to take suggestions and firmly believe that the best people to know what businesses need are you, the small business owners. So sorry, I'm a little bit scratchy this morning, but everybody enjoy the class and I hope you learn a lot.
Anybody else from MnDOT on?
That's it for today.
All right, well, we had a little kerfluffle here. We were trying to get the the speaker set up and Orlando's voice almost blew the windows out. So we turned that off. We will do,
Sorry.
Eric and I giggling over here. We'll do some introductions around the Zoom. I'll ask for each of you to just briefly introduce yourself and tell us what your company is and what you do. And then we have two women sitting here in the class. After you guys go through, we'll have them introduce themselves too. So Kimberly, you're first on my list. Unmute yourself and just say good morning. All right, so we're going to go to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, can you say good morning?
Good morning. My name is Jacqueline Vaughn and my business name is T-Shirt Plus Production. I do like uniform apparel.
Excellent. And welcome back. It's nice to have you again. Let's see. Cynthia, your bright and early shining picture is showing up. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My
morning.
name is Cynthia, and I am, well, my small business is CG Consultancy Plus. We do help underrepresented businesses, new and existing, underrepresented entrepreneurs, small businesses, and nonprofits build capacity. Help them increase brand awareness and engage customers and just streamline over all processes. And we are here in the Twin Cities area, so that's what we do.
Great. Well, welcome, Cynthia. It's nice to have you.
Thank you.
Kimberly, have you figured out how to unmute yet? Looks like no. Let's have Fasya, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Fozia. I'm here.
She's in the room. What a treat.
Nice to see you guys. We are Care Transportation and we do the road and local hauls, but we're trying to get into the contracting side of things.
I don't know people yet, but I will. So it's nice to have you here. And then who else is here? All right, we also have Gwen here. Gwen, what does your business do? Dump trucks. Great. I don't have my notes in front of me from Friday's class, but I remember you were there as well. So welcome. All right, I think that's it for the participants. So with that, let me check my list. Make sure we got everybody. Yeah, let's see. Kimberly, one more chance. Are you able to unmute yourself? How about you, Tracy? Do you know, can you introduce Kimberly for us?
Yep. So Kimberly is with Kim Dahl Cleaning Services. She does janitorial as well as demo. So, and she's been on our 2 other classes as well. So we're familiar with Kim and her work. And we'll see if she can join us with volume a little bit later.
Great. I should have my notes in front of me, so my apologies. All right, with that, we're going to get started. So let's talk about designing a website. Remember, this is a lot of content. Am I sharing correctly, Eric? Nope. All right. This is a lot of content. Our expectation is just that we are giving you an introduction and some tools. And remember, another part of this contract is the opportunity to ask Eric and me, or Eric or me, to come and work with you individually at your own company. Now, we have a list started and are planning on doing our follow-ups today and tomorrow. We're dealing with some AV here again. Thank you. So expect a phone call from Eric or I today or tomorrow. And if you haven't already indicated either on an evaluation or in the chat that you'd like us to come spend some time with you, then go ahead and do that. All right, since we have students here, I'm going to turn and look at you, even though my background isn't as pretty. All right, so let's get started. All right. So again, this is part of the virtual business training and technical assistance program that MnDOT is sponsoring. And we're so grateful for the good work that Orlando and Adrian and Tracy do. Let's talk first about why you need a website. You know what, in the chat or just raise your hands and Eric's going to monitor this. How many of you already have a website? Okay, so Fosia has one. Anybody else? Eric in the chat? Well, even if you have a website, I'm glad you're here because today we're going to talk about ways to improve it. And we're not just talking about the website. If you've already selected a domain name and you have a host, we're going to give you some resources to determine if you've picked the right domain name. And if not, if you get a do-over, okay? So there's a lot of opportunities for updates and we're certainly here to help you with that. So why do you need a website? Well, I see there's two chats. So it looks like Cynthia has one and Fosia has one. And then remember, we're recording this. So anybody who's watching a later recording, you certainly, we would love to know how you're doing too. You can always email us after the fact, right? So you don't have to attend these classes in person in order for us to get follow-up. So why do you need a website? Well, probably the most important thing is it provides a contact outlet for you. Some of us remember, probably all of us remember the days of the phone book. We don't really get phone books anymore. So if I ever need an address for somebody or a phone number, I just type in their name and see if they have a website. That's really the easiest way, even easier than looking it up in a directory online. It introduces potential clients to your company. So if I'm doing a video or saying hello to somebody, I can say, oh, here's my website. Oh, you know, Eric, we should have talked about in this class how to create a QR code. That just occurred to me that I've recently started doing that for some of the websites that I want to send people to. So if you're interested in, so that's not on the notes, so pay attention. If you're interested in learning how to get a QR code, do you guys know what that is? It's that thing that you can just hold your phone up to. Those are great because then people don't even have to type in your website. And Eric and I, that's perfect for us to do follow-up, or we could even create a small little how-to and we'll send it out to everybody.
Question, and this is Orlando.
Yep.
Is there a cost for that?
You know, there are, the answer to will we be sharing the slides? Yes. And you should have gotten them in a workbook form this morning as a PDF, but we will share all this information later. To answer Orlando's question, I just created a QR code for the American Society of Civil Engineers because we did some work at the Capitol. And I know you can do it for free. I personally had to pay $1.89 or something like that. And I need to investigate that further. The day that I created it, I literally needed it for a meeting later. Matt McIntosh says there's free QR code generators online. Again, Eric and I will send out a resource sheet for that. I was under the gun, so I thought $1.89, I can pay that right now. So, but it was extremely easy, and we'll follow up with you.
And this is Tracy. I hear QR codes is the thing. I've had DBEs hand me cards or even postcards or business cards with them on. So they were super excited about it. I think within the last couple of years, it's just kind of the way to go.
Yep, I agree, because even typing in a website, you can get one letter wrong and you're not at the right place. So right now, if you Google professional engineering services, you might get me, you might get the company that has the same name out in Pennsylvania. So a QR code is a great idea. And I'm sorry, I didn't think of it until just right now, but we will certainly get you that information. Your website will show up in searches. So if somebody is looking for local dump truck providers, If you have the right keywords in your website, you'll come up. If you ever wondered, how does that work? How do I know? There's a whole level of optimizing searches. Some are free, some are not. And that's a whole nother class, but we certainly can help you with figuring that out as well. It exposes your company in new ways and markets. So, you know, this allows people who are just thinking, gosh, I really need to haul some stuff, or I really need some business training, or to just Google you. And frankly, that's how people are finding people nowadays. So you might get some totally brand new clients that you never even thought about. It provides an opportunity to post your business portfolio. So I know most of you were in the class last week where we started gathering information about the projects we worked on and the employees we have. This is a perfect place for you to put that electronically. You know, more and more, we are not printing stuff. People just don't want it, right? So, and why would we print something and give it to someone if we know that they can just scan a QR code and be right there, not only right there, but up to date. So that's the last slide we have today, is to keep your website up to date. But, you know, if I printed out 2,500 brochures, well, that's a little extreme. If I printed out 100 brochures and now our, you know, address changes or something, those have to go right in the garbage, or I have to, you know, kind of schmuck them up with a marker, and that doesn't look very professional. Right. But if you have a website, it's just easy as can be to change it. And then frankly, it lends credibility. I have worked with a lot of friends and colleagues who have started companies, and they just as a friend, and it really is your, like, the flag that you post that, yep, I'm a legit business, can just be one page, right? A fancy website is not required to provide credibility that you're really a business, that you're really a person. And it's like this, the starting block, I would say. My sister and I recently bought a tavern in northern Wisconsin, and that's a whole nother story. When you guys come here and we have our social, I'll tell the story. But we created a website right away just because so many people were asking us, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And this is a way for people to find it. So that there's not much there other than what our plans are, the address, the name. But it's a really good way to meet people. Fasia has a question. What? Oh, they had a QR code for their resume? Ah, so Fasia. Excellent. So Fasia just noted, you don't have your microphone on, do you? That's okay. I can relate for you if you're comfortable with that, or you can come up here. She just noted that she was recently at a meet and greet, and people had QR codes for both their website and their business card with their, or both their website and their resume. And that's, oh, wow, that's a great idea. Really, really, you know, technology is changing the way that we do things. So I love that. The olden days when we had to type our resumes, I'm probably the only one that had to do that. All right. What are some other things that a website can do for you? Well, it allows people to have access to you with extremely low effort, you know, to format a website. And now, you know, 1,000 people can access it, 1 million people can access it. That is very low effort. And those of us that have started a business know that a lot of times it's just one person, right? Or 2 people. So I don't have somebody who can send out information in an envelope and take it to the post office. Frankly, that's a waste of money in 2023. So it's very low effort. It strengthens your brand and your image. It could even sell products for you. I know we have the uniform provider and the t-shirt person. I should have written that down. I can't remember who is that. We'll look in the chat. Anyway, you know, you could actually sell things. It's very easy to set up a selling platform. Eric specifically knows how to do that. And so if that's something that's interesting to you, we certainly can help you get started. Makes it a lot easier for potential customers to contact you especially if you have a contact call to action, which we'll talk about in a minute on your website. And then it gives you the chance to present yourself in the way you want. and to tell customers what you want them to know. Okay, what can't a website do for you? So this is really important. It can't do the hard work of building a business. It can't follow up. It can't reach out. A website is passive. It just lays there waiting for people to access it. Okay. It can't correct incorrect information on its own. It can't fix a mixed message or a misunderstanding. And so as we put websites together, you have to be really careful, because you could offend somebody and there it sits for everybody to see, or you could have a mistake, or you could post an inappropriate, and I'm not saying these are purposely inappropriate. I'm saying we have a different culture now and different society where there's a lot of diversity. And so if you have a mixed message or something that's offensive to a certain demographic, can't fix that. Can't update itself. You're going to have to figure out how to do that. Can't renew itself. So it could actually expire and go into oblivion, and it can't clinch the deal. So the initial considerations. So we're on page 7 in your workbook in the PDF that I sent out this morning. Eric's going to talk a little bit about what a buyer's journey is. The considerations are, what do you want people to know about yourself? And he's going to step up here in a second. You also need to think about your domain name and what that means. Okay, so not just, there is a website out there called AnnJohnsonStewart.com. It's the one I used when I ran for Senate, but I really don't want that for my business, because what the heck is AnnJohnsonStewart.com? So you have to really think about what your domain name is, who should host it, and what are some website building resources. So Eric's going to talk briefly about the buyer's journey.
All right, so one of the things that we do as business owners and business operators is we think a lot about ourselves, and that can be a problem when we're trying to drum up business. We have to put ourselves in the shoes of our customers. That's called understanding the buyer's journey. So what we have to do is we have to think buyers take a journey in solving their problems. First, they become aware, I have a problem that needs to be solved. And they're thinking, well, if I can't do this myself, I need to reach out to somebody who can help me fix this problem. So they narrow down what their needs are, and they understand what it is they need to fix. So first they're aware of the problem, then they consider what they need to fix that problem. And now their search begins. And that decision that they make is finding the fixers. You're the fixers. And you have to put yourself in the position of the buyer to understand all the questions that they're going to have. And you can use your website to answer a lot of those questions. You can answer questions about scheduling, about meeting opportunities, how to best contact you, what costs are, what equipment you have, anything that you can think of what your customer would want to know about you or your company. You can put that on your website. But you have to be purposeful about that. You have to think, what are my customers' questions? Because we get sort of drummed up in like, well, I know what we do, and I know, if I sat down and I talked to somebody about it, I could tell them how we can help them out. But that's not what websites are for. Websites are to really get ahead of that. So when they find you, they have a lot of their questions answered, and then they can make that contact already with confidence that you can help them fix their problem. So that's what the buyer's journey is. We have to put ourselves in the position of the people seeking help with their issues.
Okay.
So that takes us to, how do we put together a good, effective website? Choosing those domain names, and Ann kind of touched on that too. Considering your domain name, a lot of people think, just like Ann did, well, I'll name it after myself because it's my company. Well, that doesn't answer the first question of what do you do? So thinking about a domain name is as easy as making a list of the things that you provide, the services that you provide, or the products that you provide. So people who just go to a search engine, Google or a Bing or whatever, type in what they need, and that could lead them to your website. So even your specific domain name. So that's something to consider when we look at how to put a domain name together to help that search optimization, that search engine optimization, SEO. We hear that a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. You can help yourself by choosing a really effective domain name. So you kind of have to get very basic with how you choose that. And as Ann said too, even if you have a website, it doesn't matter because we have technology now that you can use old websites, old web addresses to guide you to the new website. And it's very simple to do that. You link them up and it's just like, it's not a problem at all. So hosting a website, I did some research on website hosts. That's a service that's provided. And it generally, you kind of get what you pay for, but there are free services so you can try it out. So you can try a few different things. They often offer a free service to sort of get your feet wet a little bit on that. But the one that I found had the best reviews. Wait for the truck to go by. Best reviews and the best service is Wix.com. And we're going to go to that site and I'm going to show you how that works out. But we don't get paid by Wix. That's just the one I found. It's come back as pretty useful and effective. And I've actually built a site on there just for fun, and it worked out pretty well. And it's very easy to manipulate the content, to change the content, to update it, add different services. We'll take a little walk through that to take a look at it. And then so that goes to the next one is building a website resource. So those two kind of go together a little bit. So you have a website host and they can also help you build that website. There's a little bit of a legalese sort of deal where you can't just throw a website on the World Wide Web and have it go. It has to go through all the proper channels. So, you're the only one. And so that website hosting might actually be a different service, but it's still, they link it up and it's just the same. Like GoDaddy is where you go in and you can check for website availability, and they can also host a domain name, but then that links it to your website. So it sounds a little bit complicated, but all the background work is done for you, and it's really pretty easy. It's kind of more or less filling in the blank for that kind of stuff. All right, now I got to get used to.
I think are
you up?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so Ann's back again. Let's continue here. That little arrow was just dangling there. So Eric just walked through some things really quickly. So don't worry, we're not there yet, okay? We just wanted to give you something to think about as now we move into the 4 activities, and one of them is super easy and you just take it home with you. But the 4 activities that are going to get you to the point where you have electronic content that you can drop into a website, okay? So again, we have less than an hour left. There's no way you're gonna get a website done, but we're gonna give you some ideas on how to create some good material to drop in, okay? So what you need to think about right now, stop, lift up your fingers. We're not gonna do any work right now. We're just gonna think it big picture. What is my message? Who's looking for me on the web? And who do I also need to reach out? And what information do I need to provide them? So just think this right now. Like if you were to right now look at my website, Professional Engineering Services, you would see that the message we provide is all about construction. Now we do a lot more than construction, but that's really frankly, the users of my website are agencies who are checking that I'm legitimate, right? But I also want to have a lot of pictures. I want to promote this image that I've been out in the field a lot. Now, if you haven't been out in the field a lot, go get some pictures of you out in the field, right? I mean, we talked about this last week that we really need to start creating a portfolio so that you can use stuff. I'm looking at Gwen. You got to get some pictures of your trucks, right? And of you standing by the truck. I mean, for those of us that are female or people of color, or somebody who has a disability, or somebody who has some other visible characteristic that would further identify them as a targeted group business or a disadvantaged business, this is also validation that you are the person, right? So we all know what it means to get audited. Every year we have to say, yep, this is really me, I'm running the company. Well, visual proof goes way further than just saying it. I'm just saying, get some pictures of yourself in the driver's seat, right? Or whatever you do. The first thing that we're going to do is direct you to activity 1. And thanks for, I can't remember who recommended it, but we rewrote these documents as website activity 1. So let's get that out, open it up as a Word file, or if you're sitting here, you guys have it right in front of you. And we really would prefer that you do this on your computers. Because we all know what it's like to take hand notes and say, yeah, I'm going to put that into electronic version in a minute. Well, you know, we know what that means. Sometimes it won't happen. So first thing I want you to think before you even start writing anything down is, what is your brand and what do you want your website to convey? So I just took this from a marketing website. A brand is the emotional and experiential qualities that fuel perception and ideas that others share and experience about a company. It is a consistent tone or visual voice that represents its competitive advantage in the company's position within the market. Now, let's stop for a second. You know what else goes into brand is color. So right now, think of a color that you think identifies with you. For me, it was this pretty blue. I happen to have it on. Eric, we have nothing in here with our logo in it, but I picked a rich, Eric's got, that's not really our blue though. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. We've got some stickers. You know, we have committed to the color blue. Now I used to work at Braun Intertech. Anybody out here know what color a Braun Intertech truck is? Green. Gwen said it immediately. We know American engineering trucks are white with red, white, and blue on the label, right? So we start to get, what about UPS? Brown, of course. So color is actually really important. So think of that as a side note, and let's turn to activity 1. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes on this one because this is really not a critical part, but just something we want you to think about. So it's 8:39. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down some thoughts. And you let me know if anything comes in the chat. So while you guys are writing, I'm going to write too, and I got to share this, make sure I'm sharing it. Notice as I'm doing mine, I'm not writing complete sentences. We're just trying to get some electronic text down. Eric, I like your computer. Snappy. And then if you get to the bottom and you have a few more minutes, we have, let's say 1 more minute, either now or in the future, find some websites you like and put the links here. That will inspire you. I'll just do it. Let me do a little bit of linking. of Zooming. That'll inspire you for, how you might want yours to look. So I'm going to put, let's see. Are you seeing bronze? Am I sharing? So here's bronze. Here they found one of their few women to actually pose for a photo. They've got their management and their latest news, what they do. Lots of cool pictures. I like this one. Oh, I found another woman. That's shocking. I used to work at Braun. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't say that because we're recording this. I'm sure Braun has lots of qualified women now. So let's just, all right, let's look at HNTV. I used to work with there too. Wow. So HNTV makes me think they are doing some world-class stuff. I mean, look at this website. It's pretty cool. Being HNTV, I like that. So that's just an example of, doing a little bit of a search and finding some websites that you think are cool. All right, save that. Yes, Fascia has a question. You can transfer your domain. So Fascia asked if you can transfer your domain from one to another, and the answer is yes. In fact, we did that because when I started, I was, when I started my company, I mean, the internet was actually barely available when I started my company. And when I first had a website, it was bad. It was a terrible website, but I didn't know any better and I didn't know what to do. So it was pretty easy to move it. Actually, when you move it, you either can move the domain and just carry the content, or you can start from scratch. But Eric and I can help you with that if you're interested. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So remember, why do you need a website? This is review from before. As you think through it, activity 1, remember your website provides contact information. It introduces potential clients. It can show up in searches. So think about the words that you're about to create. It provides an online business portfolio. I know you guys were in class last week, so you've got some of that stuff started, and it lends credibility. All right, so now we're going to work on putting together some content. All right, now what are these words here? Now let's pull out activity 2. So activity 2 is called website activity 2. And I'm going to leave the screen up while I talk through what these words mean. Okay. So we were at the Braun. Let's just check. Does anybody remember the headline on the Braun website? Eric remembers it. What was it?
Science and something is built on.
Yes, actually, Eric said it, and I remember it too. It was something, the science you build on, or yeah, that's their headline, and if we looked back at it, that was pretty bold. If we look at the HNTB website, there was a big website there. I think they just had a big picture at first, right? But then when we went down, the headline was lower, and frankly, I don't remember that one. But Braun did a good job of coming up with a headline. The headline is bam, what's right there in front of you when you get to the website. Your headline is, something secondary. We'll look at PE Services website here in a second. Your primary call to action. Eric talked about this a little bit. Your primary call to action is contact us. Do you need more information? Buy a t-shirt. Get involved. Get started. It's prompting people to take an action step and to push a button, right? So now they're engaging with you, and you can get reports of who visits your website. But if somebody actually connects to you through the website, that's a pretty easy return, right? They were there, they reached out to you through there. Do you have some supporting images or graphics? If not, you got to start making them. You need to think about what are the benefits of using your services or buying your products. And where's the proof? Well, what does that mean? That means, do you have any verbal testimonies? Do you have any awards? Do you have any ratings that you can put on your website? Now, anytime you finish a project with MnDOT, you get evaluated. So that's one source that you could find. If there's a positive comment about you, you could put that on your website. I had a funny thing that just happened. Somebody put in a proposal and used me on it, and there was a quote about me. And I'm like, well, where did they find that quote? And when you teach, I'm not even going to tell you the website, but when you teach at the university, students can rate you. And they had gone to there and found a student had rated me, and they found the quote there. But having a quote about somebody else evaluating your work, that's pretty powerful. So go ahead and grab your activity 2, open up website activity 2. And there's some prompts in here that will help you come up with this electronic content. Now, Eric, what time do I say that we're going to end activity 2? We look on the front page there. So right now it's 8:48. Okay, well, we're not going to spend, we're a little bit ahead of time. So we're going to stop and we're going to spend some time here, but not 22 minutes. All right, as you guys work through this, I am going to be perusing some websites and pointing things out. So the first thing is your headline. Within 3 seconds, within them looking at the website, they need to know what you do. So quality transfer, quality construction trucking, or reliable construction trucking, or effective business coaching. Okay, Eric's going to take over the mouse. He's already got a bunch of examples that he's going to show you.
So when we talked about finding a website host or finding a website builder, I mentioned Wix.com. And, you know, if you're going to use them or trust them to help you build a website, let's take a look at their website and see how they put it together. So first thing you see when you go to Wix.com is fulfilling a need, create a website without limits. There you go. If you're looking,
headline.
that's your headline. If you're looking at to build a website, that's the first message I see, right? Now we have the secondary message, build and scale with confidence from powerful site infrastructure to advanced business solutions. We've got you covered. So right away, that's building confidence in their product. And what's the first thing you see at the, you know, when after that, that's a call to action. Get started. And there's a little bit of confidence builder there. Try Wix, no credit card required. So you can commit, you don't have to commit to them financially before trying them out. And I'm just going to go over, I'm going to hit this cookie thing. There must have been a rule about cookies at some point. All a cookie is just a program to help your computer remember a website. They're not necessarily bad. They're just ubiquitous in the entire website building thing. Anyway.
I think they used to be perceived as bad, but you can always clear your cookies.
Right,
So.
right. So as we scroll down this website, Anne has the labels you can even pick out here. What do we see here? A big image of an example. Wow, look at that website. That looks dynamic. We got sparkling fruit soda. You know, we have we got the colors there. It looks dynamic and looks inviting, right? So this is something that now this website saying you can do this. We can help you do this. So further scrolling through.
The proof is on the left, 212,000
in sales.
in sale. That's proof that that's a legit company.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can see how you set your product up on the right. You have a picture of your product, you have your cost, add to cart. Pretty simple, clickety click, and you have a product in your cart. Okay, scrolling down, one platform, infinite possibilities. That's real confidence building. So one thing you're going to notice here is positive language use. And you can use that in your own websites to just build that confidence. Look at these words: infinite possibilities, unlimited creation, powerful infrastructure, the place for growth. Those are all hugely powerful messages and encouragement for you to use their website. This is a perfect example of what you want to do when you're putting your website together. Now, will you be able to use all these tools and really focus on your product? maybe not, but there's some things that you can use, and just remember as you're putting your descriptions together and your site together that, yeah, it has an impact on the buyer, right? And what's another thing we see? Get started. So now I have 2 get started buttons. So every hour, every time I scroll, hey, if I'm not convinced from the first slide, I'm convinced that maybe I'll be convinced on the second one. So I'm going to keep going because I'm not quite sure yet. So website templates set you up for success. So a template, I know, is just a fill in the blank. Oh, I don't have to create it from scratch. That's great.
Oh,
And look at
we
this.
used a template. We
Yeah.
we were not creative.
And it scrolls all the way through. Look at this. These all look professional. They all look nice and clean, and I don't have to know code. And that's awesome, right? So now that I know that I can use the template, let's get started. So I can go there. So again, they're repeating that call to action, making it super simple for you to engage in their website.
Eric, up one more. So you see the link to under the word success, website templates. So when you see something like that, it just means click here, and Eric just demonstrated it. Just click.
Well, I'm going to go to open a new link.
Okay. And there we go. So this is as easy as can be. Ties back to activity 1. What's your brand? What do you want somebody to see? Find a template. You don't have to be a graphics designer. Find a template that emphasizes or that affirms who you are and the work you do. Maybe you're all business. So that one that says tech company, that one to me, go down one right there. That to me, that's pretty no nonsense, right? But I like it. It's good. So, all right.
Yeah, so question.
Gwen has a question.
Yeah, but that's just it. These templates are placeholders. They just give you a place, and I'll show you what that looks like when we
Repeat Gwen's question for
so the question was, do we want to use our logo on our website? Absolutely. These templates, like I said, are just placeholders for text and images that you can swap out, lickety split. It's really quite simple. But the way that they use this website templates is just, here's the service. If you want to if you want to see what we can do, here's a place to look at that before you get started. So, well, I'm not quite sold yet. Build more than a website. Here's another one. Get started. Call to action. Right. So now I'm building more than a website.
Oh,
I'm
now it
building
says
a
selling.
business. Yeah, here we go. So now we're creating a store.
It's amazing.
Exactly right. And every single option they demonstrate, it gives you a chance to get started. Whatever it is that to convince you. Now you don't have to scroll all the way back up to the top and find the little get started button. They leave it right there for you, right? So the message that I would take away from this is anywhere that you have a place to navigate on your site, say if you have a whole different page for about us or your equipment or whatever it is, if you have a few different places to land on your site, always include a contact us button or something, some call to action, so they don't have to go back to page 1 to find a way to get a hold of you.
That's good information.
And then we're getting a little bit now into their functionality, website foundation engineered for growth, faster loading, resilient infrastructure built with SEO in mind. SEO is that search engine optimization, and that's really the key to being found online. And we'll talk a little bit about that and what they offer for help there. Enterprise grade security. So we're all worried about online security now, and they offer that. That's a package that comes with their service. And it's accessible for everyone. You can even look at what those tools mean. So if we look at those tools, Ann talked about making it accessible for, if you're part of a group that is distinguished through a disability or some other feature, then now we know that they have tools to help people with disabilities access your site. So that's a great function there. And again, boom, get started. You're going to see that everywhere on this site. And you can also see that as I scroll along, this whole top ribbon doesn't move, and there's a get started button there. So even if you don't want to use this one, I'll use this one, or maybe I'll use this one. It's just a great example of how you need to give your customers access to the easiest way to get involved in your business. And this, again, as you scroll down, there's different options here. There's e-commerce, selling things, there's a blog. So if you're just out to present information about what you do, there's a blog option. There's scheduling software. So now you can set up appointments to meet just through your website. Portfolios, we talked about building a business portfolio. What projects have you been on? What companies have you worked for? There's an option to build your portfolio right through the website. Domain and hosting. So we talked about what the function is for web hosting and connecting to a professional domain name. They do that. Even though there's a lot of different companies out there, Wix has secured the ability to do that as well. Kind of a one-stop shop, if you will. And then it will help you with branding tools. This is one that I thought was really neat. We we want our company to be recognizable at a glance, right? But some of us don't have a logo. Hey, guess what? They have a logo maker right here.
Oh, I am totally doing that.
I know, right? Isn't this I mean, like I said, we don't get paid from Wix. We don't get anything, any kickbacks or anything, but man alive, they got this down pretty good and they help you with a lot of this stuff. So
Oh, just go back, but just look at that. I mean, even from here, I don't know if those guys can hear me. Tracy, if you can't hear me, let me know. But even here, you can think about your brand and what you want to convey. That's what the logo does, right? So this is excellent, Eric.
yeah, I just was really impressed. As I dug further and further into this, I thought, I'm going to have to find all these examples of these websites, and it's all kind of right here. It's a little bit silly how good they are at this. So now we talk about driving traffic, right? That's a big thing. You look at the World Wide Web, there's millions, if not billions of websites to choose from. How do we get those customers to us? And that's part of that SEO, that search engine optimization, AI driven Facebook and Instagram ads. I mean, ads, yeah, you can get a lot of bang for your buck out of that. Email campaigns, social posts, and more. I'm not much of a social media user, but I know it works because I've clicked on those ads like, oh, hey, you know what? That shows up. I like Facebook because my wife puts our family pictures on there. So I'll see them every now and again. And then, hey, I guess I do need that tent expander or whatever. I want. So, I click on that and then that's all I get ads for that for the next 10 days. But the help they can offer is pretty easy pass-through kind of stuff. Managing your business. So we have an owner app that does help you put together your financial information. It's not going to run your business for you, but it helps keep it all in one spot. And then here it is again, how to create a free website. 6 simple steps to create a website. How easy could it get? Sign up, customize a template, drag and drop. That's an easy thing to do, right? Get ready for business, add online stores, booking systems, publish your website and go live, drive traffic to your site. That makes it all sound pretty easy. And here it is again, get started. So these things, this is really a very simple method for getting started. And it is as easy as this. It takes the problem that I see, and it's not even really a problem, is once you get into it, there's so much potential there that you're like, oh, geez, these options are limitless. And how do I really want to make this look? But the key is to get started. Yeah. And that's what this class is about, is just getting started, because it will take you a while to build your site, because you're going to change your mind. You're going to have to take some pictures maybe and get better pictures and work on your content a little bit. But for all intents and purposes, getting started is really what we're looking at doing here.
Hey, this is Tracy. Good, I just wanted, Jeff, can you guys hear, or excuse me,
yep.
Eric, can you guys hear me? This is Tracy. I do have to leave to go to another meeting, but I'm super excited. This is a lot of good information. I'm hearing pictures are 1,000 words, and videos. I think that would be a fun thing to talk to, the QR code. Yeah, just keep going. I'm going to jump off to go to another meeting, but looking forward to seeing all the participants' websites after this class, and make sure you take advantage of meeting with Eric and Ann afterwards as a one-on-one as part of this contract. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. So here, this is also serving as it's kind of an educational opportunity too. So they have a blog that how to design a website, online courses to get you started, 13 ways to monetize your website, 15 Wix websites to inspire you. So they've built sort of this portfolio for themselves of people who work for them or writers who put these articles together to help new customers to the field of building websites. So that's part of their blog. So that's also another great service that they have. And then here's some of the proof why the Wix website builder is best choice for you. I found about Wix from an independent source, and they went through a bunch of them. I can't even really think of many of the other ones because this one was so highly rated. Thought, I'll just start with this one, make it easy on myself. But they have the evidence that they need to prove to you that this is a decent site to use. And even if you don't think it's the best, it's still a good place to start. So again, a way to get started. Over 220 million people worldwide had chosen Wix. That's a lot of people. That's pretty good credentials right there, right? And then the bottom here is the support, get answers, contact us. And even if you get to a point where you're like, I would love to do all this stuff myself, I just can't spare the time, there's an option to hire somebody. They'll connect you with professionals that will build your site for you. So they know that, they still have all the tools for you to use, but they understand, there's not 25 hours in the day, right? You only have so much time, so they can connect you with professionals that will do this for you. And my guess is that the professionals are going to be at a pretty decent rate. And then at the bottom, they have questions that you might ask as a new website builder, and it just takes you through. And what I like about these is most of them come with a clickable example. Is it easy to build a website? Here's website design features, and we'll take a look at some of those too. Wix Marketplace for using a website builder to help to get a professional scope on it. How do I build and host a website? Secure servers talks about the security of where your information is going to be.
Wait, Eric says for free. Look.
Oh, for
So
free. Look
that
at
would
that.
be like just getting you in the door, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to pay any money.
Yep. And here's enterprise grade security. Some of the stuff is beyond, like, once we get past HTTPS, I don't know what that is really, but it doesn't matter because they take care of it for you. So again, these frequently asked questions and answers right there on the website for you to click on, and you can learn more about it. So that's really a great offer to have for that. And that takes us right to the bottom. And here's sort of their web page navigation. If you can just click on most of the stuff that you've already seen, it's really very simple to do. Now let's take a look at, I'm trying to remember, am I getting ahead of myself?
I think you are getting ahead of yourself.
Okay, so I'll let Ann come back and continue.
So I know right now I'm a little bummed that my website that I told you about earlier for my tavern, it's not as good as this. So Vasya, I'm going to try to move mine and then I'll report back to you how that goes. Again, Eric and I are not selling for this company, but we did do research. And so we're trying to optimize your time. If you trust us, this is a great place to start. You certainly can go to other places as well. I mean, the sky is the limit right now in terms of what's available. All right, so the other things, Eric did get a little ahead of himself, but I know he was really excited about that. Take some time just in the next, let's just do 2 minutes to wrap up our thoughts. Do you have a headline that you could use? Do you have a subheadline? What's a primary call to action you could use? Do you have any ideas? This is from class 1 or 2. Why are you unique? Remember, we talked about that. Why would a company want to hire you? Why would MnDOT want to hire you? Put some thoughts down there. Oh, and actually I started this, okay? So, I don't know where it went. I thought I was typing it as we were talking, but so, yeah, I know. I don't know where it went. So what are some headlines I could use? Quality, construction, inspection services. That's boring. I just fell asleep reading it. Okay, so what else? We do good work always. There for you. We like to get dirty. Okay, nobody's gonna see this but you, so I'm just doing some brainstorming, okay? So then for each of these, what might be some subheadlines? What's a call to action? Contact us. Do you have a question? Where can we help? I don't know what they are, but something like that. I do have some photos, but again, I've been in business for 28 years. If you don't have photos, start getting photos. Okay. Again, I can't tell you how many times I wish I had a picture of a specific project, but that was in 99, and that project's done and I don't have any pictures and I'm bummed about that. I don't have any pictures of Eric working on the Twin Stadium or the Viking Stadium or the Guthrie or the library. We just weren't thinking. And so those opportunities are gone. Yeah, it just wasn't the same. So take it from me. This is me 28 years down the road. Take pictures of everything. Again, why are you unique? Why should a visitor to your website do business with you? And then social proof. Do you have some evaluations? Do you have a client? Here we go. Do you have a client you could quote? Maybe you don't have any quotes. Add a note here to prompt your follow-up. So I'm going to be quiet for 1 minute and let you guys just quickly put down some ideas there. Oh, we've got right across the way, Gwen. You can see it, I'm sure. Pardon? Yeah, go ahead and visit Wix.com. That's our next activity. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, Fascia is just saying that her previous 2 websites were both built with GoDaddy, and so are mine. And I can affirm what you're saying or agree that it's not as good. I have another company that I want to start that is a nonprofit. And I'm thinking I'm going to play around with Wix this afternoon. It's kind of fun. And it also inspires creativity.
That is. I played with that a little bit. So as a former.
Eric, come up here and talk so everybody can hear you. So Fascia just talked about AI, artificial intelligence, which has been in the news quite a bit lately. Eric and I found AI and we actually experimented with it. And we had a moral dilemma as to if we should talk about it. But since Fascia brought it up, we're going to have Eric offer a few words.
So as somebody, I have a degree in English. I was an English teacher for a number of years. And I found that the AI function for writing content was amazing.
We couldn't believe it.
I mean, it was really, so my take on it is this: for all intents and purposes, it will do whatever you ask it to. And it's a great place to start. So that if you have trouble building verbal content like that, if you have trouble writing, I talked to some people in the office today, I'm not really confident in my writing. I teach a class for LTAP about just building writing skills. If you're not confident, AI is a great place to start because you can look at the content that it generates and then you can edit that. It's a great place to get started. I would hate to say it replaces you as a thinker, but it does a heck of a job. It really does. And I'll show you an example of that when we get a little bit further into the website stuff. But AI is coming along to the point where it's almost scary.
Put that in the chat. Yeah. So Fascia and Eric and I are just talking about artificial intelligence. He's going to demonstrate that. And again, I just want to tell you, we were amazed. amazed. So used correctly and used ethically, I think it's okay. And what AI will do for you is get you started. So Fasia just put in a link in the chat to RYTR, is that right? .me. And this is a content generator as well. And so remember, today's objective was just to get started, but we certainly can follow up with some of these things when or if you schedule your meeting. But I actually think everybody on this call has already said that they want to meet again. All right, so let's get into activity 3. So now here's where we really think about, and we're going to visit the Wix website with just the last 20 minutes, and we're going to develop your layout and format. Basically, we're going to play. So there's no expectation that you finish here or anything like that, but Eric is going to walk you through organizing your information, how to use a template, considering your domain names and keywords, and we're going to go to wix.com to get started. Now I'm going to let Eric take over. I just want to offer up one other thing to get you thinking. When I ran for Senate, I had the experts at the highest level understanding search engines and search optimization and how to direct, how to reach out. Remember my screen that's, or my slide that said websites will not reach out? Well, actually they can, but all of this costs money, and it all is something that's at another level. But I do want you to know that there are professionals who understand how to optimize these keywords much more than we do, and who understand how to send your website to people in ads. That's not part of the scope of this, but depending on where your business is and who you are, that may be of interest. So I just want to put that out in the atmosphere and let you know that if you're interested in finding out more, we can certainly do that in a follow-up. So I'm going to let Eric take us to Wix. This is activity 3. I think it says activity 2 and 3 on the handout, but it's website activity 3, and we're just going to barely skim the surface.
So first thing I'm going to do here, and how do I get out of the, how do I get to?
Oh, you want to get to Wix?
No, I want to get to the activity 3 web sheet.
Okay, we're going to hit escape.
I just sent that twice. Okay,
Sure. Wait, we got to make sure we're sharing it.
Yep.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, so I'm familiar enough with, we just kind of went through it. I was a little bit ahead of myself at wix.com, but just kind of as an example, again, we're going to kind of point back to some of the things I already pointed out. But if you look at wix.com, just the domain name, short but sweet, that's one thing to consider. So these are just stuff that I'm going to kind of reiterate here, so you can, so as we get into our own websites, we can know how they work. So that there's a thing called a hook. You're just like you're fishing, just a hook, right? Answers that need answers the need people are asking or seeking. No risk. What can be your hook for your company? What is it that you provide that people really need? So think about what is it that you can get on your website to draw people in. That get started button, call to action, all the way down that website, right? So what's your call to action? I would suggest something like contact us, or get started, or we can help, something that people can click on, and that's their call to action. If you look at the graphics and examples, that's where the pictures come in. That's the eye catching. That's what's drawing you in. That's giving examples of, wow, that's what my site can look at. That's great. So keep in mind, you want something dynamic, want something catchy. The other thing that I didn't really point out is one thing that there aren't a lot of on the website for Wix. There are not a lot of words, right? You don't want people to have to read paragraph after paragraph after paragraph to learn about you. You want small, short phrases that can make a big impact right away. Okay, so, but the kinds of words they use are very positive. I mentioned that: infinite possibilities, unlimited, powerful, growth, success. You can find examples all the way down that website of really encouraging, positive words. So bear that in mind. All right. The important things that they emphasize are the easy steps to get started. You can emphasize that on your own website. What can we do for you? How can we make your life easier? How can we solve your problems? You know, give the buyer a solution right away. And then, of course, offer all kinds of support for helping them solve a problem they may not really know how to solve. So once you get down to the bottom, you're asking yourself, is it easy? Do I need to know code, web builders, you know, or the web developer? All those questions that you might have generated as you looked at that site, they try to answer at the bottom. So that's a good example of how these tools are used in a website. All right, so I'm going to jump to directions for signing up to Wix. So this is where you get started. And if you click on this, it's going to ask you the question, is this one signed? Are you at the create website or not?
You mean on Zoom?
On Zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so if I
sure,
bounce
sure.
back to
Activity
Here?
3, now we see it. Yeah,
okay, good. It's going to ask you questions before you get started. So if you click on that, all you need is an email to kind of move forward, and then a login. So I don't know about everybody else here, but I have like a dozen email addresses that I've had to collect. You know, I've had it from AOL, but I probably have one floating out there from there. But I use just kind of my go-to email before P Services was actually a registered domain. So I have one from Yahoo that I used. But you're going to answer these questions. You know, where did you hear about us? And it just kind of wants to know how it's doing business, right? So if you click on to sign up, and again, there's no commitment for doing this, but it's going to take you to a site. And I'll kind of show you where it goes here. You're going to enter your email again, create a password, and then you sign up. You couldn't continue with Google, which will draw information from the Google archives for if you have a Google account, or Facebook, it'll draw that too, so you can continue as well. And then you sign up. Okay, so that's that first step, just to get access to the site. It's going to ask you the questions, why are you looking for a website? Who are you creating this website for? What kind of website are you creating? And then once it goes from there, it gets you to a dashboard. And that dashboard should look something like this. Where's my site? So I did a bunch of sites once upon a time, and I'm going to choose this one here. I'm going to try to get back to the dashboard so you can kind of see sort of where you end up here once you log in. Okay, so this is what a dashboard looks like. So this is kind of starting you from scratch, and it, of course, wants you to buy stuff. It'll ask you to confirm your email, but this is the very basic building blocks of your website. All right. So once you go through the steps of signing up onto Wix, eventually you get to a page like this, and it has these tasks for what you're completing. So this is just a business type. I put the business type in as engineering consulting agency. So I saved that. That was my first question that I was asked. So it's updating that now in its system. The next thing is add your first service. So you click on that and you add the services, again, kind of filling in the blank, right?
Okay.
So these are the services that I could offer on my site: appointments, positioning, legal consultation. All right. So if I want to go back.
So wait, Eric.
Oh, yep.
So those are just placeholders.
Service
right?
categories. They're categories that you will build within your site. Yep.
So the picture itself is not important. It's just
Right.
what
Right.
it is.
It's just
Okay.
something that within the realm of engineering consulting, these are
Okay.
things that it thought
Okay.
might help you move forward with that. Okay. So then you click on whatever's appropriate for that. Set up your payment methods. So if you want to get paid through your website, say you have a store or you have products that you sell, you can set that up here as well. You can do it with credit cards. You can set it up through PayPal or manual payments where they send you a check in the mail. Okay. And this takes a little bit more on your side to if you have this, because you can't just say, yeah, I'll take your credit card and send it in. You have to have a service that allows you to do that. PayPal too, it's probably a little bit easier to get paid through PayPal. But these are things that you can set up through here as well. So I'm going to go back home and kind of show you the next step here. Connect with a custom domain. So if you don't have a domain yet, you can go get one. So you can build, you can choose the domain there, and we'll talk a little bit more about choosing domain names at the near the end of class here. We just have a little bit, but I wanted to get to the next one where we're looking at our website. Okay, so the website builder is something where you choose a template and then you start putting in content. All right, so it's kind of doing that now. It's going to the template of the engineering consulting site, and this is where it starts. Boom. You know, and it's already populated with placeholders, right? And I haven't done really anything here. I put in my name, ER Johnson Training Consultants, you know, and communicate with these to get most out of your people. So if I click on that, here's the text, you know, I can change or edit that text, you know, make it look however I want it to.
Well, this is really good.
And it's really just everything.
Way better than GoDaddy.
Yeah, everything you click on, you can change, right? So you can do quick edits, and you know, you can do your background change. I mean, it's just a lot of it is just plug and play kind of stuff. All right. So if I want to add elements, however I want to do it, look at my headings. And really what it takes to get used to this is just playing around with it, you know, click on something, and if you don't like it, you can change it, right? So you can move stuff. You can just drag it over here. Oh, I want this over here. Oh, I don't want this picture of an orange. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff on here. So I was going to go to see if I could find that. Okay, here it is. So here's a band of text. It says on a paragraph, click here to add your own text. So this is how those templates work, right? They're just placeholders. I'm going to go to AI text, and that brings me, should bring up a.
It is. It says the text creator is right on the left.
Oh, there it is. I was expecting it to be on the right. So what is your business type? I'm going to say just consulting. Consulting. What's the business name? Your Johnson Training. I'm going to ask for a paragraph. What's the topic? I'm just going to say, all right, so it's going to be about me. What's important to mention? Let's see, teacher. Technician, inspection, and family. Random things. What's important to mention here, and then create text. I was just.
We were floored. You can't believe what it comes up with.
Yeah. So now it's pulling from its computer brain to generate a paragraph. And again, a paragraph is a lot. So once we see what it spits out, I think I broke the AI. I'm just kidding. Here it is. Okay.
Look at that, all those words.
I know ER Johnson Training Incorporated is a family-run business that has been providing high-quality consulting services for over 30 years. What? How did I know that? We specialize in teaching, technician, and inspection services. Our team is highly experienced and knowledgeable in a variety of industries, and we strive to provide the best possible services for our clients. We pride ourselves in our commitment to providing quality services with the utmost respect and integrity. Our goal is to help you succeed in your project and reach your desired outcome. If you're looking for a partner who can help you reach success, look no further than ER Johnson Training Incorporated.
Okay, now look, here's another option.
Yeah, then that's just one, I think, of 3 options. So you can pick and choose. And now if I say use this text, it throws it right onto the website here. And then if I want, I can go back and I can edit it. I can take out whatever I want. A place to start. I don't really like this background. It's just absolutely crazy, I think. I know. It's just crazy. But so once you get to this point, when you're starting to put some content in, you know, it gives you a lot of placeholders here, and you can always add sections. You can delete sections. You can do a whole, I guess I did throw a couple pictures in here, just
I
kind
was
of.
gonna say, where did they get those pictures?
Yeah. So the other thing is you can build more than one site. I have a couple of sites on here. I have this one that I did for, I wrote a book back in 2017, and I needed a website in my book. So I created a website, and I'll show you if I can go to that.
You gotta hurry though. 'cause we're
I know,
almost done.
I'll go to here. And in my book, there was a website I needed called heredity.com, and I thought it would be fun to have an actual website. So
People are gonna visit it.
yep. There it is. So here's heredity. Oh, hereditynow.com. That's what it was. And so it was about a DNA testing lab that this was actually a serial killer who used it for his evil purposes. But this is my book, not to, sell myself on that too much, but I just did this for fun. And it was really just a simple, drag and drop kind of thing. Right. And then I actually did connect to a site where I could sell my book online. So it does allow you to do a lot of functionality for something pretty simple to get to. All right. So I think we're running a little bit.
I just want to talk
long.
about the domain name.
All right. Let me get out of here then.
Anybody have any questions? So put in the chat if you haven't already told us you want to get together. We'll be happy to spend some time.
Where's Zoom?
Don't worry, I'll do it. If I didn't say it before, and if you weren't in class, but I think everybody was, Eric and I are brothers. So I mean, his siblings, Eric, when we teach together, sometimes we get inappropriately familiar, but that's because we are family, right? So I always have to tell people that because otherwise they think, why? They're just way too connected. All right. The last thing, and again, put in the chat if you haven't already told us either through evaluation or through earlier classes that you want us to come spend some time with you. This kind of thing we can totally do on Zoom. Okay, so you do not have to make a trip to here. We don't have to make a trip to you. We can do all of this work virtually. All right, so just to finish up, a domain name is the thing that people will see when they look at your website, okay? It's a site address that identifies who you are. Many different places will provide that. You go to GoDaddy.com to register. Okay, Eric, so Jackie put her name down. Jackie wants us to meet with her. And here's the thing, if you go to GoDaddy.com and you try out a website, let me see, make sure that I am. Yeah, I think she is as well. Here we go. So you can search, am I showing GoDaddy here? All right, so you can search. So let's say I want my company to be dump trucks are us. Okay, so we'll do that. And there it is. Oh my God, dump trucks are us. It's really cheap. So depending on the type of chain you put in, I know it is kind of cool. That's a different kind of dinosaur. You may find that dump trucks are us is really cheap. 1 cent for the first year. It might be something a little bit more expensive. If I put in, Coke is great.com. Let's see how many people, and I mean the soda, obviously. You might have a couple options here. So there could be an option for cokeisgreat.org. Coke is great. Look at, I probably broke the internet now. Coke. Oh my gosh. Wow. I could totally get that one. But anyway, it's pretty fun to look through this. What? Vegas?
I think that one's like
Vegas.com. Nope. Well, it says we might be able to get it. So, oh, here it is. I thought, yep. So there's a whole bunch of different options. And I will tell you, I know. Yep. So when I started my company, PE Services MN.com, I didn't really want that website because professionalengineeringservices.com was taken. So I bought the domain PE Services MN.com. And I just got a card in the mail from GoDaddy that said, guess what? PEservices.com is available. Do you want to buy it? So putting in a search here, GoDaddy remembers that, okay? So if you try to get a domain that's already taken, this is a good place to put it because it'll be recorded. You know, we all know that everybody's watching us. We know. And so that was kind of a follow up for me. All right, the last thing I want to do then is just to take us home here. Eric, am I sharing the presentation? Yep.
Yep.
All right, so just to finalize, Eric, check the chat. A domain name is one of the things that presents yourself. So you want to make sure that you get the right one. You want it to be relevant. Again, personal names like www.annjohnson.com, always don't do that. Again, I hate to even click on that because I don't know what it is. But I know when I decided to run for office, I bought all the domain names that had my name with it, just to protect it from my opponents or from other people using it for nefarious purposes. So you can also do that. You can buy a variety of domains that direct people to your website. You want to keep it short. You want to avoid numbers because they're hard to enter. Be unique. Don't make it too close to another website. Watch the extension. So we all have heard of those stories where it's, you know, mywebsite.com or mywebsite.co or mywebsite.org are all extremely different. And some people use that, again, for bad reasons.
And remember too, the extensions have a purpose. The .com is .commerce. .org is an organization. So .info is information. You do, if you're trying to sell something, you need the .com. If you try to sell something to a .org, you know, that's a little
People
sketchy.
just think it's a business, it's a nonprofit or
Right.
the
So just-
YMCA or
yeah,
something.
bear that in mind. Just don't want-
Yeah, so be careful. GoDaddy will give you a series of options, .com, .org, .gov. We all know what .gov is,
Like .store.
.store. So there's a lot of options out there. Don't paint yourself into a corner. So don't do dump trucks are us if eventually you want to, you know, offer up other types of trucking. Okay, because dump trucks are us is going to make people think you're just dump trucks. All right. Check the branding doesn't already exist. So do a little bit of work. And that's what activity 4 does. You'll see that it's just a table for you to fill in as you do some exploration. So now make a list, make a long list. Again, if you already have a domain, you can change it, okay? And what we'll teach you as we get, oh, Jackie just added that you can get Canva, you can get a website. You can change it, and that's 100% totally okay. So activity 4 just has you list some domain names and then has you put some notes in as you explore if it's available. The last thing I want to talk about, and we'll end up going over 5 minutes, but if you remember, we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning. But the last thing I want to talk about is just making sure that your website continues to be updated. So I would recommend, this is not a fun job for people that don't like website updating. So I'm an engineer. I don't really like this because it's pretty hard for me. Eric, though, seems to like it. So maybe I'm going to assign Eric to updating my website for me. Maybe I have a child who's in college or a teenager or a 4-year-old who can probably figure this out. You can assign the update to somebody else. And what they're going to need is the electronic text, right? So you write up, hey, Gwen, can you update what we do? Here's the text, even in an email, and Gwen can copy it and place it in as an updater. Okay, so you want to make sure to monitor the content. You want to make sure that you renew annually, otherwise you're going to lose your website or you'll lose your domain and then your website won't be active. And you want to have a contact us option. If so, who's responsible for responding? We have a contact us option. Not very many people use it, but it is a nice service. Again, updating your website is work, but it's really important because remember, it's a passive receiver of, or it's a passive provider of information. So if you have incorrect information on there, you got to update it, right? You got to make sure that it's kept appropriate. All right, looks like Eric wants something and then we'll be done.
Real short, one quick option for when you get your domain name, one of the services that they provide is email. And I would suggest that because for us, we have eric.johnson@peservicesmn.com. So immediately your email is connected to your website.
Oh,
and
yeah.
business.
Yep.
So that's an option that you definitely want to look at. It does come with a cost, but it's a nominal cost for just keeping track of all your communication. So you're not like, oh, my email is, Eric Johnson at, busgarage.org or whatever, it's something that doesn't have anything to
Come
do
into
with
the
me.
camera.
Oh, sorry. So, but that was just it, just as an option for building your domain name into an email address so people know where to contact you directly.
Yeah, and I bet I'm not the only person that has guessed at an email address. A lot of people do that, right? You wanna, I wanna find somebody, so I'll just say, Jeff Stewart at braunintertech.com, Jeff Stewart at braunintertech.org, Jeff Stewart or Jay Stewart, and more often than not, I hit the, I get the person. So what Eric said about tying your domain name to your email is really important. So we went over a teensy bit. Does anybody have any questions before we stop recording? And then look forward to contact from Eric or I about setting up those meetings, because we'll be getting out Zoom schedules, etc. very shortly. Our next class is not next week. No class next week. We do have class the week after. On the 15th, I have to find a teenager to help me teach that one because it's on social media. Just kidding. So that's a pretty fun topic, and I look forward to that. We're going to explore all different types of social media platforms, and we'll look forward to seeing you. If you want to come in here, how'd it work? Do you guys feel like you're part of the class, or do you wish you would have stayed home? All right. Well, hopefully they felt worth coming here. And the best part is now you have us in person. So with that, we'll say goodbye. Have a great day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on March.
Thank you, Ann. This is Orlando. Make sure they have the survey and that you please send it to Ann and give her your feedback. And again, if you know of a workshop that would be beneficial to you, let us know. Thank you, Ann.
Yeah, actually what Orlando said is right. I've been sending the evaluations out the next morning. Make sure you get them back to us. You guys have been doing a great job so far. So thank you for that. And with that, we'll talk to you in a couple weeks or next week, depending on when we set up our schedule. All right, bye-bye. Eric, can you click end meeting?